Hey, what's going on everyone? In this video, I'll be breaking down everything you need for kayak fishing. In the first half, I'll be talking about all of the basic essentials that you need, whether you're a beginner kayak fisherman or you just got a kayak and want to get it out on the water, and make your life a little easier by picking up a few other accessories. And then the second half, if you've been kayak fishing for a while, or if you just want to deck your kayak out as much as possible with all the bells and whistles, we'll be covering that too. So even if you're a beginner, make sure to stick to the end, because if you may not need these now or may not want them now, it'd be a good reference to have in the future. So let's jump right on into it. Real quick before we get started, I just wanted to mention that everything that I'll be bringing up today, all the accessories and everything, I will have listed in the description below to be purchased, so it'll be easy to find it. All right, so let's break down the basic essentials. So the first thing we'll be covering is probably the most obvious thing, which is your paddle. So obviously, you're gonna need this. Don't forget it. I've forgotten it in the past, and that kind of sucks. But whether you're a pedal drive kayak or a paddle kayak, it's a good idea to have a paddle anyway. Most kayaks already come with a paddle, and if not, just make sure to get one that fits your size and your body and your arm length. Next up is a pretty obvious one as well, and that is your PFD, or any sort of life jacket. I prefer these lighter ones here, and they're fairly comfortable, pretty lightweight, and in the state of Maryland, you at least have to have a PFD on your vessel. If you're not wearing it, it has to be in your vessel in the hull or next to you. But specifically with these PFDs that blow up, you actually have to be wearing it. So if you're in Maryland, I'm not sure what the other laws are, but if you're fishing Maryland waters and you have one of these PFDs that automatically inflate or have the pulley here, hopefully I don't pull it on myself right now, you have to be wearing it. So just FYI. Another basic accessory that a lot of people don't think about that you'll need is most likely a headlamp. And with the headlamps, it's just nice because obviously us fishermen like to get out there before sunrise or staying after until sunset, fishing till dark, and then getting off the water or getting all your stuff together when you're already off the water can be annoying, holding your phone light while trying to pick everything up. It's better just to get one of these, and it makes your life a lot easier. So another essential item here that I have is a kayak crate. So this is a Hobie H crate. This is specifically made for Hobie kayaks, but for other kayaks, or if you want a different one, there's plenty of companies that make them, like Yak Gear, Yak Attack, or just a simple milk crate that you can throw back here. It's just really nice to keep your tackle organized and to stuff other things in there that you won't need at hand while you're fishing. And if you don't want to go with the crate option, there's also tackle bags that you can get. Next up is a dry bag. So having a dry bag is really handy, especially if you don't already have dry storage, because, well, you need a place to keep your phone, keys, wallet, things you don't need on the water really at all. And you don't want those key fobs to break, because we know those are expensive. So definitely great to have one of these, and these are also very cheap. Well, this is full of water. Another good thing to have, depending on what you're fishing for, is a net, and this is obviously a pretty large net. I use this for snakehead fishing, and I've actually had fish jump out of the net, so I went with something with the deepest pocket possible to keep those crazy critters from escaping. Oh. But definitely makes it easier handling fish in the kayak when you have a net. And something that goes kind of hand in hand with the net are lip grippers. And having lip grippers also, it kind of depends on your species that you're targeting. For any kind of species that have toothy mouths or are just kind of a pain to deal with and they flop around all over the place, lip grippers are essential. These are Boga grips. These are kind of pricey, but if you don't want to go with grippers like these, there's also these standard fish grip style grips, and these just open up, and once you close it, it locks into place. Now with these, I definitely would not recommend using it on fish that like to death roll a lot, because one, it can break the fish's jaw, and that is just really a mess for the fish. And it doesn't seem to hold on to fish that are flopping all over the place and going crazy. All right, so moving on, this is an item that is often overlooked. This is a bilge pump. These are also very cheap, and basically this shoots water out from your kayak in case, you know, you have a cracked hull or anything like that. Basically all you do is shove this in where the water is and pump it, and it will shoot water out. And like I said, these are cheap and very handy, because I have had an experience where I was taking on water, I didn't have one of these, and it ended up just being messy. And what I do is I usually just break it down and throw it inside the hull right under my seat. That way I can grab it anytime if I need it. One item I rely heavily on are my rod holders. I've got one rod holder here, another there, so I can stick 2 rods there if need be, or if I'm trolling, these actually pop out like this, and I can stick it down and it locks in, and I got both rods shooting out to the side, and rather than keeping them behind me, I can keep an eye on them in case I get a takedown, or if I see a fish on, I can grab it a lot quicker and make sure I land that fish. And these are fairly nice Scotty mounts, and you can turn it any which way just like that. And it also has these little straps here to lock in your rod. So definitely great to have. Usually a lot of fishing kayaks come with the 2 rod holders behind you, and then there could be some in front of you, and then also the Hobie crate and other kayak crates may also come with rod holders. This one happens to come with 4 in either corner, and then other crates like Yak Gear crates, you can add attachments, which are those rod holders, plier holders, and things like that. The last basic essential that you'll need is a kayak cart. Now, if you have a pretty light kayak, like around the 50 to 75 pound range, you may not need these, but especially if you have a bad back or your kayak is heavy like mine, I solely rely on my kayak cart. So I have these wheels here, which are made for kind of all-terrain, and then I also have sand wheels, and the name is pretty self-explanatory. These are for sand. You don't want to be using the all-terrain wheels on sand because it will just dig into the sand. Your kayak will go nowhere, and you need those sand wheels where it gives a little bit and it's able to roll over that soft sand and not give you any issues. So that pretty much wraps up all the basic essentials. Now let's get a little more decked out and put some more bells and whistles on the kayak. All right, so now decking your kayak out more. First thing that I did was get a fish finder here, and obviously you can get a fish finder that just has 2D sonar and showing everything below you, or you can get a fish finder like this. I have the Humminbird Helix 7 with side imaging. So you've got side imaging that shoots out, 2D sonar, down scan, mapping system. So anywhere on your track mounts, or if you have a Hobie, your rail mount system, you can attach it to there. And I just keep it to the right side of me, so it's easy. I'm right-handed. I can just grab and push any buttons that I need to, and everything is there nice and close to me and not in my way when I'm fishing. Another decked out item that you can get is lights. I do not have any lights on my kayak, but if I were to get any, I would probably get one for the bow just as a navigational light. And then also you can get LED light strips that surround the base where you're standing or sitting, and that just makes everything easier to do if you're night fishing or anything like that. So moving on, there are shallow water anchors like these, which are super handy, especially in shallow water and on windy days. This is a Yak Gear shallow water anchor or stakeout pole, and what I'll do with this is I will put it behind me and put it in one of the scupper holes right here. And if I do that and stick it inside of the scupper hole, that keeps me from moving anywhere around besides being turned. And if you really want to deck it out, you can get a power pole, micro power pole I think it is, and that is just all automatic, and once you press a button, your power pole shoots down and you're staying in place. So I almost put this in the essential category, but it really isn't essential, but I highly recommend these. This is the Kayak cushion, and they are a great brand, and you can also get other brands that make your day on the water a lot more comfortable, and especially if you're having long days, 8-10 hour days on the water, sunrise to sunset, can be even longer than 10 hours depending where you are. This makes life a lot easier. And if you're a skinny guy like me, where you don't got no meat on your butt, you will get sore quickly. So I highly recommend these for your seat, and then they also make them for your back too. So be like a water couch basically. Not really, but it makes it a lot more enjoyable where you're not worried about getting sore on long days on the water. And the last decked out item that I'll bring up is a camera. So if you want to film any of your adventures, I love doing it, and I have a lot of videos on the water. If you guys want to check them out as well, make sure to head to my channel. But I have a GoPro Max right here that I've got on a ram mount setup where it's just sticking up 2 feet, and it's a 360 camera, so it captures everything. But if you want to get any other camera, these ram mounts are great. Other companies make great mounts, and they vary in size, whether you want it short in front of you or you want a taller one behind you. There's all sorts of mounts where you can really play with different angles and get exactly what you're looking for. All right, guys, well, that is going to be a wrap for this video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, make sure to smash that like button and also consider subscribing. I do a lot of adventures on the water. I post weekly videos, and I will also post videos like this for educational purposes or fishing hacks or anything like that, but mainly adventures on the water, exploring everywhere on the East Coast and Chesapeake Bay. And don't forget, any of these things that I mentioned here will be listed in the description below, so make sure to head there. Get yourself set up to get on the water and have some fun and put some fish in the boat. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.